So welcome back to DecoyNoise and another episode of Am I the Antagonist? And am I the antagonist for publicly shaming my ex-girlfriend who is an aspiring Instagram model? So as always, we gotta read the story in its entirety. We rush it over to Decoy Court where I give you my knee-jerk reaction and also the decoy defense. I read over some of those top comments and the controversial comments, then I read your comments down below as well. But let's go ahead and get to the story right now. So OP wrote, I have a 17-year-old daughter. I'm not her biological dad, but I've been in her life since she was 4 and I married her mom. We divorced when she was 13 and unfortunately her mother has some mental issues that she refuses to treat, so I took full custody. I recently dated a woman who was probably too young for me, a 25-year-old, and she was an Instagram model, though not very successful. My daughter did a little child modeling and has a lot of success on Instagram. There were times I felt my girlfriend was using my daughter for Instagram likes and she seemed a little jealous of her. Besides that, they got along alright. I broke up with my girlfriend 2 months ago after the stupidest fight. My daughter said something about college and my girlfriend wanted to know if I was still going to pay for college despite her Instagram money. Technically, she's made enough to pay for college, but I intend to pay for her education and she could use that money for her future. This upset my girlfriend for reasons, and she was whining about how no one paid for her school and she had so much debt and she needs her Instagram career to take off. My daughter said maybe you should get a day job, which was a little bit jerky, but she's not wrong. And my girlfriend said, well, maybe you should get some real parents. I saw red. I kicked her out that night and that was the end of our relationship. Well, today, I saw a picture she posted on damn Instagram of the three of us in a throwback Thursday. I feel like she's just using my daughter's name to get attention, so I commented that I would like all pictures of my underage daughter removed from her account, and I included what she said. I guess she got some hate because she left me a voicemail crying. Am I the antagonist? So as always, you gotta take the case and rush it over to Decoy Court where I give you my knee-jerk reaction, and honestly, it's super messed up that the girlfriend is jealous of OP's daughter, but, you know, the girlfriend was only 25 years old, and she's like an aspiring Instagram model, and they also only have like an 8-year difference, so it kind of makes sense, like maturity-wise, where they're at. And a lot of people hate on men that date younger women, and it kind of comes from situations just like this right here, where it's like, you know, if you're gonna date a 25-year-old, you're gonna have to understand that they're only 25 years old and they're gonna give you, like, you know, 25-year-old girl drama. And the idea is, like, that's just part of the territory. Like, what is this, Tiger King, where, you know, I'm gonna feed these uncaged wild animals that eat gazelles in the wild. How dare they accidentally bite my arm too? Like, you know, it's like OP knows what he's getting into, and you only have yourself to blame when the inevitable happens. And, you know, maybe I'm being too harsh here, but it just sounds like OP kind of learned their lesson about dating someone that's 25 years old, and they realize they need to break up with the girlfriend. So I guess the real question was, did they go too far with the rebuttal and posting on the thing? And I'm gonna have to say, not the antagonist, because OP's just there standing up for his daughter. You know, it's admirable. It's admirable because it's not even his daughter. Like, he actually has no responsibility to take care of the kid that's not even his, just by marriage and then taking full custody because her real biological mother is doing terrible things right now. We're not doing terrible things, is going through a terrible time. So he's just taking care of the daughter. He's doing a good job at it. And, you know, we don't even know how old OP is. For all we know, he's 30 years old himself, so it's kind of age appropriate for him to be dating the 25-year-old girlfriend. And, you know, he learned that it's not the best thing to have that girlfriend around his daughter, so he's doing the right thing, cutting off the ex-girlfriend. So, you know, I guess the crazy decoy defense in this situation has to be, you know, maybe OP's one of those crazy, overbearing pageant mothers. It's like, you know, living vicariously through the kid. Like, you're gonna be Instagram famous, you're gonna post on this, we're gonna get you some sponsorships, we're gonna bleach your teeth every day so you can get some teeth whitening sponsorships and everything. And maybe the girlfriend was just trying to hint at the daughter, like, hey, maybe your real mom wouldn't be taking advantage of you like this. And, you know, maybe the girlfriend's trying to say, like, hey, the daughter's trying to spend her money to go to USC or Harvard, but OP's like, no, I'm gonna pay for college. I can only afford DeVry, so that's where you're gonna go. Meanwhile, OP's spending all that, you know, those Instagram stacks of cash on, like, you know, buying himself a Maserati and everything. So Yes, in that weird decoy defense scenario, that would make him the bad guy, but only in that scenario. So, I mean, it's a stretch, but I really try to defend the indefensible. So, if you like me doing that, make sure you subscribe down below with the notifications on, because before we take this short break and go into the top comments and the controversial comments, let me know if you agree with the decoy defense, or you agree with what I'm saying, or you think I'm wrong and you're just gonna blast me for 20 minutes in the comment section. I also appreciate that as well. But let's go ahead and read that first top comment, which is, I was prepared and even keen on thrashing you, but holy crap, who says something like that to a child? And who acts like that because the father wants to pay for the education of the child? Not the antagonists. Teach that immature influencer a lesson. Kind of off topic, I also kind of hope you learned your lesson. While I'm all down for kinky stuff and free love, having a romantic relationship with a huge age gap, no idea how old you are, I'm going to assume based on the idea of maturity age can be dangerous and doomed to fail if you're in a different stage of maturity and or livelihood. The difference is, in my opinion, already given by the simple fact that you not only have a daughter, but she is a minor and your now ex-girlfriend is barely older than her. Yeah, 8 years is generally quite a bit, but after that story, are we going to judge her to having the maturity of a 25-year-old, said the 22-year-old male student? ETA, oh, and the underage person in pictures online thing, you were definitely right in demanding that they take them offline. Don't know where you live, but at least here in Germany, I'm pretty sure every lawyer would agree to that. Edit 2, thanks for the gold, and thanks for the second award. Okay, so we got some fire emojis and all that other stuff. So I do agree with a lot of the stuff this person's saying over here, but just the idea that oftentimes I disagree with these top comments that project a lot of stuff, and they're projecting that there's this huge age gap, and they're projecting that the maturity thing is right there, and you know, the idea that they even came into the post saying, I'm going to thrash you just based on the based on the title, and they change their mind and everything. I'm not really a big fan of this comment right here, just because the idea that there's like, oh, I was going to project some stuff and I was going to, you know, jump to conclusions, but now let me jump to conclusions in your favor. Like, this is not what we need to be saying or whatever. But let's go ahead and read a reply to that comment, which was, same. I came out already with you're the antagonist typed out, and the truth bomb smacked back hard. OP, you're not the antagonist. Your ex sounds like a jealous 5th grader, and that's what it is. It's probably the jealousy situation where, like, you know, girlfriend's 25 years old, trying to make it on Instagram, trying to make money, trying to have the good life of just posting pictures of them poolside or at the beach or at some nice, you know, hotel in somewhere other place, and all of a sudden they're like, wait, this kid's doing it better than me, and am I doomed? I'm gonna be, you know, doomed to having to get a job over at some place that they hate working at because they couldn't become an Instagram famous like the daughter right here. So yeah, they're jealous like that, and it's kind of a crappy thing. So let's go ahead and read the next top comment saying, not the antagonist. Pro tip, OP, don't date a chick that's closer to your daughter's age than your own age. Glad you dodged a bullet. She was a major antagonist. And they edited in some clarity, which is the same thing I was saying, is oftentimes guys will get, you know, catch flack for dating younger people, but it's just because of this thing. Like, if he was kind of more accepting of his fate, like, oh yeah, if I date this very much younger person than me, I'm gonna get the same drama I faced when I was in college, which that is kind of college age drama. And you know what? If he was accepting of that, not shocked, like, oh my god, how dare a 25-year-old act like a 25-year-old, he would be less the antagonist here. But let's go ahead and read another top comment. So, not the antagonist. Good on you for protecting your daughter and not letting the ex monetize your images after the breakup, which is very good, very true. Like, don't let them be a jerk to your daughter and still try to get more likes and follows because of the daughter. That's messed up. And the next reply was, sure, when the girlfriend said something heinous, he finally stepped up. But protecting your daughter isn't dating someone that could be her peer, or casually observing that said Instagrammer is potentially using his kid for the likes and doing nothing about it. For future reference, OP, you should only introduce your kid to the significant other when A, they are significant, and B, have displayed responsible and considered attitudes towards everyone, and especially the impressionable daughter that she's heard so much about from you, and C, if and when you do allow them to interact, you, the parent, sets the boundaries on what is acceptable for your daughter and family unit. So don't sit back and watch and wonder if your underage daughter should be used to inflate her followers, etc. You're proactive and set the healthy parameters, not relying on the good sense of a 25-year-old unemployed influencer. And if you don't see the appropriate behavior that she shows will be a good influence and stepmother type figure for your kid, don't introduce. Okay, this is gonna go forever, so I'm not agreeing with this comment right here because they're just projecting so much stuff. They're saying that the girlfriend's unemployed. You don't know that. Nowhere in there they said she only Instagrams, she doesn't have a job. They don't know that. She could have a regular job and also a degree at that point in time, so they're projecting that. And also the idea like, oh, how dare you introduce people to your daughter when blah blah blah. They're talking down to him. For all we know, OP is being a really great dad, taking care of a kid that's not his child, that's trying to pay for her college and also set a good example, may very well have been in love with this girlfriend, but cut her off because she wasn't a good role model for the daughter. He seems to be doing everything right that he doesn't even need to be doing it overall, and he's still that poster right there is still managing to find something wrong with the way they're living life. Like, you know what, I'm so good at this, how dare you do this, this, and that. Actually, you should have done that. I don't really agree with that. I don't think that was a good move, but maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section if you think I'm being too harsh, which I very rarely do unless I feel passionate about something. Let's go ahead and say enough of the top comments. That's too much rationale. That's too much regular people talk. Let's get to controversial, because the first controversial comment had lots of downvotes saying, "Everyone sucks here, everyone other than your daughter. You were right for breaking up with her. What she said was awful, but you should have kept everything else to private messages. Not only is Instagram public, but your daughter has a following. The dirty laundry between her, her father, and his ex doesn't need to be public. You did good in defending your daughter. It just should have been done in private." They got a lot of downvotes right there, but it could have had bad fallout after, like, you know, the daughter might have sponsors with, who knows, some very she's sponsored by Wool, who's very traditional and doesn't want any drama, and all of a sudden she's on drama, and, you know, other people are talking about it, and YouTube drama channels like me are, like, you know, stirring up the pot and posting it everywhere. It could have negatively impacted that, so I do kind of see where they're coming from. Maybe they're just getting downvotes because of the fact that they got it said everyone sucks here. OP's doing a generally good thing, but it's hard to say. But let's go ahead and go to the next top reply was saying, "Wow, wow, the sexism on this effing sub. A few days ago, a mom posted about publicly shaming her child's father, who bullies his autistic son into breakdowns, shoves him into pools he's afraid of, and calls him weak. That mom was the antagonist, apparently because embarrassing someone on social media is worse than abusing a 5-year-old. But some chick dating a man old enough to be her dad makes one crappy comment to a 17-year-old, not okay, but relatively insignificant to the daughter's life, and all the comments are screaming for her head. Now suddenly social media shaming is just fine. How is this a thing? Is there anyone here who's not self-absorbed teenage boy who's bitter that girls don't like him? Anyway, you shouldn't be surprised when immature behavior when you date someone who is almost a child. Everyone sucks here." So yeah, this is a controversial comment, but I do understand where they're coming from, and the idea is there is definitely a double standard when it comes to Reddit, especially Am I the Antagonist? But the problem is everybody likes to, like, you know, whine and scream, "Oh, double standard, men bad, woman good, oh, Am I the Antagonist is unfair." But the thing is, though, is we do have double standards towards men and women. They're treated differently. That's just society in a nutshell. Is that a problem? Yes, maybe not. But the idea is you can't sit there and scream injustices when they exist in reality, because the sad part is that's kind of reality. Like, they are going to be yelling at one person in one situation and another person in another situation. There's subtle nuances between these situations where you have, you know, people bickering about social media, and then somebody else, I didn't read that of the post, but talking about how, you know, the mom is the antagonist for embarrassing someone on social media, but they're not the bad guy, they are the good guy or whatever. I feel like you're just making too much of a generalization when you say, like, when you cry and scream and moan about, like, you know, the double standards that Reddit has sometimes. Because honestly, I made those fake posts where I talked about the one guy that said, "Hey, I know your girlfriend had already slept with these people, let me tell you." And then I wrote the inverse of the situation, where it's from the girl's perspective saying, "Hey, no one told me that they had already slept together. I feel so done in the wrong." There was a double standard, but it's like there's nuances, there's difference. People are entitled to say, I feel that I feel strongly about this situation in this context, but not in that context. That's perfectly all fine, but then people did want to stand up and say, "How dare they have double standards?" I mean, not a fan of double standards, but it is something that does happen, so I don't want people to think that it just doesn't happen in nature when it's justifiable. I think this guy's kind of right here, kind of wrong, but I mean, that's what's good about Am I the Antagonist? Ethics, competing values of what's right and wrong. But as always, let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below in the comments, and also subscribe with the notifications on if you do like my particular take on all these stories, because these are I try to find gray areas, or are they the antagonist? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. It's up to discussion. So as always, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you hanging out with me. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you're dropping comments, and make sure if you like the channel and you want to support it, go to DecoyNoise.com/donate to help support the channel as we move through whatever's going on right now. But you don't got to do all that stuff. Maybe you can like it, maybe you can share it, but anything at all, just put it on autoplay and watch the next episode of Decoy Noise coming up next.